All right, 3 questions. Give it to me, John Anthony. What's on your rundown?
What if the Royals and the Chiefs don't give more transparency on their stadium plans?
Well, then they would be taking advantage and taking for granted the Jackson County taxpayer, who they just assume is going to extend this 3/8 sales tax. And there's reason to believe that. Now, certainly transparency is needed much more from the Royals than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have said, we want to upgrade Arrowhead Stadium. Now, I think the taxpayer deserves to know what that means. Does that mean more suites? Like, how does that improve the experience for the average fan in Section 328? That's what I would be curious of. Is it just kind of, the concrete's getting old and we got to update some things that people don't really notice but need to be done? What is it? But more so for the Royals. Can you tell us where you want to be? Now that the Jackson County Legislature has voted to put this to a ballot in April and to have the Jackson County resident vote on extending the sales tax for both sports teams, now the obvious question is simply this. Can you tell us where you want to put the damn stadium?
Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with a candlestick. It's the clue game, you guess.
Yes. I don't care if it's the East. Well, I mean, I do care. But just give me a location. Is it East Village? Is it the old Kansas City Star Building? Something tells me the Star Building, the old Star Building, is getting more attention. And frankly, I think it should be getting more attention. That East Village site never made any sense. You got a bunch of homeless shelters around there, and the homeless shelters do a great job. City Union Mission's right there. I mean, great organizations, but you can't move the homeless shelters. If you put it at the old KC Star Building, you tie downtown to the crossroads. They want to put up that big park over the south side of the loop. I mean, all those things are kind of going to work together pretty well if they put it there. But then the question is, okay, if you put it there, why do you need an entertainment district for $1 billion when Power and Light is a stone's throw away? That's what I would be questioning. Cut them in on Power and Light if you want to do that, if you're, the city of Kansas City, Missouri, because Power and Light loses money. It does not make any money. The city still subsidizes Power and Light. So now we're going to create another entertainment district right around the corner? For what? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. All right, what's next on What If Wednesday, John?
All right. What if a 6-figure salary isn't enough to entice new recruits to law enforcement?
Well, then the defund the police movement will continue on as is. And that's what we've seen the last 3.5 years. In San Francisco, they are offering a $110,000 starting salary to cops, and they still can't recruit them. They had 26 members in their recent class in San Francisco. That's less than a third of what it was in 2019. Pre-COVID, pre-Summer of Love, pre-all of that. And they're starting these guys and gals at $110,000, and they can't get them. So if you can't get cops in places like San Francisco for $110,000, then we are in for a generation of defunded law enforcement because you literally cannot pay people enough to do the job. We know in Kansas City, we're down 300 cops. Across the country, it's anywhere from 10 to 20%, it seems like, is kind of the running average. And as more folks retire in the next 2 to 5 to 10 years, it's only going to continue. The damage that was done from 2020 is not something that is going away anytime soon. It will cost us a generation of cops around the country. And effectively, they've defunded the police without actually having to truly defund, like take money away from the cops. The media, combined with, I would argue, one major political party, decided that they were going to go bad on cops in 2020, and one man, one situation in Minneapolis has arguably made this country less safe for a generation to come. And that's a damn shame. What's coming up on What If Wednesday, John? Third question here for me.
What if Ron DeSantis finishes in third place in Iowa?
Then he's got to close up shop he's got to call it a day. He's got to go back to beautiful sunny Florida, take in some of the rays, and he's got to go home. There is no point in Ron DeSantis doing anything more for a presidential campaign if he comes in third place in Iowa. It would be such a disappointment based on what the expectations were at the start of 2023 after he won his reelection bid in Florida by 20 points, nearly. When he blew it out of the water, no one saw it coming. I mean, that was a swing state until he got control of it. And it will be one of the all-time debacles of a presidential campaign, certainly I've seen in my lifetime, for a guy who had very high expectations. So close up shop. At that point, let it be Nikki or Trump. Chris Christie's got to go home. And Vivek can go back to, selling used cars, and we all move on with our day. That's how this should go if Ron DeSantis does come in third. And I think he'll eke out a second-place finish, but he's certainly not going to come close to Trump. Whereas Nikki's actually, within striking distance of Trump in New Hampshire. So just let those be the options and then let Republican voters decide what they want. But still, it's most likely going to be Trump.